What's going on, guys? Your boy Fluff here. Today we're talking about the huge changes coming to 2.5.0 in Diablo 3. Huge quality of life improvements. So amazing. We're so excited to talk to you guys about it. We're going to show you guys how it works. We're going to talk about the things that they actually didn't even mention in the patch notes. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so first let's just take a quick gander at the patch notes. And right out of the gate, you're going to notice new feature, Armory. What does this mean? Players can now save up to 5 different builds per character using the Armory. Saving a build in the Armory will snapshot your current character's gear, socketed gems, active passive skills, nice cube powers. Amazing. Now what does this actually look like? So in every act now there's this special chest, what's called the Armory. We'll zoom in here. It's this guy here. You just walk up to it, it opens sesame. So how does it work? So right now I'm wearing my Vivet gear, spells on my bar that I want. I have all the equipment on that I want. I have each legendary gem that I want. It's all the way I want it to be. So all I would do is I would hit save. I could name it here. You know, we've already named it Vivet. You hit OK. From this point forward, if you ever want to go back to playing Vivet, all you gotta do is go to the tab that you set Vivet to and hit equip. And that's gonna pull all the items from your stash, change all your skills, change all your passives, change all your gems. Amazing. With just one click of a button. How cool is that, guys? You know, same thing to note down here. You know, we've already taken the liberty of, we have a Vivet set up, we have a Man Rasha set up, we have a Fire Rasha set up. Those are the builds we're loving this season on Wizard, and you can see those guides all along here. Beep, boop, beep. But again, all you do is you put on the gear, the skills that you want, the gems that you want, and you do the exact same process. You hit save, you set the name, and then if you ever want to switch between any of these specs, you just change the tab, hit equip, just like that. Boom, all the stuff's on. A couple things to note here is that it does pull from your stash, so you're gonna just store items like you normally do. The only real difference here is when I go to change between Vivet and Man Rasha, I'm not just being like, okay, I need to use this. You know, I need to pull my item over like this. Like, oh, what gems do I run? I forget. All you're doing is hitting the button to change between the two, and boom, you're there. The other actually somewhat interesting thing to note is that it always pulls your highest gem levels from your stash. So say if I have a level 70 Wreath of Lightning in my stash and I have a level 100 Wreath of Lightning in my stash and my build uses Wreath of Lightning, it's gonna pull and equip that level 100 100% of the time, as long as it's in your stash, which is pretty cool. So changing, you know, between different characters is not such a huge hassle anymore. You don't have to walk over the gem guy and unsocket your gems and put them in the bank and then pull them back on the other character. Just leave them in your stash at all times. Another cool thing here to note about the Armory is that it has this like little details button here in the top right. You can go in each build and see exactly what passives, what you have in the cube, what gems you have, what your gear is currently in that build. You don't have to like run over the cube to check on what stuff you're running. You don't have to like equip the build and then open up your passives and your skills. You can see it all times so just by hitting this button. Another really cool feature is crafting mat storage, and all this is basically this new button shows up in the bottom left of your inventory. You just click it, and all this stuff that shows up in here, like the bounty mats, the crafting materials, hellfire materials, they're all now like an in-game currency you basically spend instead of taking up all this stash space that you normally do. So just to show you guys real quick what that looks like, we'll go craft, you know, a couple dye bows, a few dye bows, and then when you go to salvage that, you'll see that when I salvage it, this new material pops up right over my head up here. And you'll see that as you're cleaning a rift or whatever, you pick up like souls, death breath, you'll just see that thing pop up over your head, and that means it's gone to your in-game currency tab, which is really cool. It would be nice to see the gems added to this. I'm not sure how that whole system will work out because you have to like upgrade gems and put them into your gear. But unless they added some kind of system where you could like, say I wanted to drag the reusable parts actually to my inventory. I'm not sure how they could go about doing that. Skill changes, Crusader, that 20% damage bonus they get when they apply to Shield Glare, Divine Verdict. If they're immune to crowd control, it wouldn't apply before, and now it always applies. Great. Another huge change, guys, is this. Okay, there's a new tier of item called Primal Ancient. But as you guys know, there's normal set and normal legendary tier items, and they look like this. No special border. They have a very specific, stat roll. And then there's a 10% chance on rolling these items that you get an ancient version of that item, which has this special orange border. Stats can roll significantly higher. And now there's this third tier called Primal, which has this really primal looking red Diablo-like border, and the stats can go even higher. Having this on like a weapon is going to be massive. I'm also assuming that since there's like a 10% chance to roll ancients, and there's like a 10% chance of that 10%, which is 1%, to get primals. So these will probably be really hard to come by. Probably really hard to get to roll really well. I would find it hard to believe that you'd be full primaled by like the end of a season, unless you're just like playing ungodly amounts of time. And just to give you guys an idea of the stat ranges on these primals and how big of a power creep this kind of is. So a normal offhand, for example, can roll up to 750 intelligence. An ancient offhand can roll up to 1000 intelligence. And then a primal ancient can roll up to 1300 intelligence. How do we feel about this? We're a little torn. It's always cool to have something more to strive for, but this content is a bit redundant and kind of feels a little lazy, I guess, because we're basically just reintroducing ancients, but another tier of ancients, which is a little lackluster. But in a game that's kind of inherently a time dump, it's cool to have another level to strive for other than paragons and being full ancient. Full ancient will happen eventually for your character, even like maximizing the secondary stats. So this adds kind of like another tier to that to really strive for and get perfection on all your gear and go full primal. So that's nice. Another couple changes. So they changed the 10% chance to proc 10,000% damage on enemies that are frozen. They changed that to a 20% chance. Whether or not that makes any difference, I don't really know yet. It's too early to say. Strong arms, they changed the mechanics and they increased the duration by 1 second. Not that big of a deal. The barber, they're basically reverting the nerf they applied to it before they released 2.4.3. And Riker did a video on this, and we'll make sure to shoot you a link. We couldn't really find any better videos of someone talking about it, so Riker it is. Interesting thing to note here, wizards, the pets will actually also proc man-alt heal when attacking, which is pretty interesting. Maybe there's a Serpent Sparker / Tasker and Theo type build out there that maybe doesn't involve Archon. Who knows? We can't really play around with that yet because it says, note, this change will appear in an upcoming PTR patch. So we can't get on there and test if it is any good. Greater Rifts, they changed the requirements. T6 you can still get in, get power leveled, but if you want to go anything above that, I'm assuming this is for people that just get carried. You actually now had to clear solo GRs. Not that big of a change, but whatever. Set dungeons, they changed some stuff. I mean, who cares? Another huge thing though, bounties. Bonus acts have been removed. So basically, if you are down on Act 3 mats, you can go run Act 3 at any time. You don't have to wait till 3 o'clock Eastern time or whenever, Act 3 bonus is gonna be. If you're low on Act 3 mats, you just go to Act 3, you finish, and you get those bonus mats all the time. You don't have to wait. Awesome. This is also great because I'm sure everyone here has experienced this, but you go into a pug, you guys are doing split farming for bounties, and someone turns in the bonus is Act 3 and someone turns in Act 2 and no one gets the bonus mats, and so you have an uneven amount of mats for the rest of the season and just makes you want to punch things. This will solve that, which is great. Huge change. One thing that they actually didn't really address in the patch notes and make aware is this new ability to just fill the cube with everything you need for that particular recipe. So say I'm reforging a legendary, I hit fill, I put in the legendary I want to reroll and hit transmute, and it's going to re-roll that for me. How cool is that? I don't have to just sit here and click every little thing and drag the thing over still. I can just hit one button, drag the item over, done. Another thing that we wish they would have addressed with these Kanai's Cube updates is, say you're playing Season and you need more Topaz because you're a Witch Doctor or a Wizard. You're just rolling through Topaz at an insane rate. So you can go to Act 2, you can go to the Peddler, and you can buy this, which is called Essence of Topaz. Problem with this is when you're doing this recipe, you throw in a Topaz, you throw in the diamonds, and you hit transmute, and it gives you X number of Topaz. But if you say buy 10 essence of Topaz, you can't just throw your stack of diamonds in there. You have to do it one by one, and it's the most time-consuming, annoying thing in the universe. There's no reason for this. A lot of you guys are going to ask, well, Fluff, where's the rest of the changes? Unfortunately, for some classes like, Barbarian, we really haven't seen any new content for our class since Season 4, Season 5. They've power creeped a couple sets to do more damage, but they haven't changed any gameplay or mechanics. They haven't added any new items that really alter any of the builds, which is really unfortunate because, as a lot of you guys know, we're primarily a Barbarian player and we've just moved on to other classes the past handful of seasons because Barbarian is so incredibly stale right now. Which kind of brings me over to another point, and I've talked about this before. You look at an item like Mana Teal for Wizard. This item itself adds so many different gameplay options, build options to the game. It's insane. You can throw this in any Wizard set and you have a build, basically. This thing has like endless possibilities because the item itself is quite good. It'd be nice to see them add stuff like this to other classes that are feeling a bit stale. So being that this is in fact PTR, there could be more patch updates to come, we don't know. But even if there wasn't, even if Barb goes another season without getting anything, it's really a lot of content, and a lot more content than we've come to expect out of the past 3-4 seasons. But we love the changes coming. It's gonna be really awesome. It's really hard to go back to normal servers after playing on PTR and just being able to switch builds at the click of a button. The solo implications of this is really, really great. Go to your normal risk spec, get some pools of reflection, get some gold, get some death breath or whatever, and then you got pools of reflection. You want to change it up to like Virasha and push like speed 75s. You can do that with the click of a button, and you don't have to like worry about maybe making different characters and keeping those gear sets on different characters. You don't have to worry about switching that gear between the characters and leveling multiple legendary gems or whatever. It just simplifies the whole game so much, and it's so amazing. We can't wait to get our hands on this. But as always, guys, like, subscribe, come on over to Twitch, ask your questions. That's what we're there for. Peace out.